Do you ever wonder why some Airbnb hosts effortlessly collect 5-star reviews while others struggle with consistent complaints? After hosting over 100,000 guests, I've realised the real difference isn't the fancy upgrades, it's avoiding 5 subtle but costly mistakes that are sabotaging things behind the scenes. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to identify and easily fix these expensive pitfalls, ensuring your Airbnb stays profitable, competitive, and earns consistently glowing reviews. Sounds good. So first up, there's one critical mistake that hosts can make that can quickly turn those first impressions sour, and that's misrepresenting your property. Think about it. Guests consistently rank listing accuracy as one of their top priorities when they're booking. Yet many hosts still try and stretch the truth. And what's the most common misrepresentations? Room size, proximity to local attractions, and noise. Now, it might seem harmless or even tempting to say you're just steps away from the beach when actually it's a 10-minute walk, or to use a wide-angle lens to make a tiny bedroom look bigger. But here's what usually happens next. Guests arrive expecting one thing and end up disappointed. Now imagine booking a quiet retreat only to turn up and realize that you're beside a train track, or expecting a spacious family room and arriving to a tiny little box that you can barely fit your suitcase in.
Oh no.
Guests feel misled, trust is broken, and that leads directly to instant cancellations, refund requests, and bad reviews. And these negative experiences don't just hurt your immediate bookings, they hurt your long-term success too. Platforms like Airbnb are more and more penalizing these misleading listings, pushing them further down the search results. So in other words, misrepresenting your property can literally make your property invisible to those guests. So what's the smarter approach? So instead of exaggerating your listing, highlight its actual real strengths. Maybe your place isn't the largest, but it's cozy, it's beautifully decorated, or literally next door to a hidden gem cafe that guests love. Invest in professional photography, not to distort reality, but to showcase your place clearly and accurately. Listings with accurate, professional quality photographs consistently outperform listings that you take on your phone. So the bottom line is, honesty isn't just ethical, it's profitable. When guests know exactly what they're booking, and they get it when they arrive, they're happier, they leave better reviews, and your listing climbs up the ranks organically. Now let's talk about something that many Airbnb hosts struggle with: negative reviews. When you pour your heart and soul into your property and into your listing, a negative review can feel like a personal attack. But here's the thing, responding defensively can actually hurt your business going forward, far more than the original complaint ever could. Now imagine you yourself are browsing Airbnb for your next holiday. You spot a lovely place with amazing photos, accurate ones, and mostly good reviews, but then you see a negative one and you think, that's no big deal, right? Everyone has an off day. But then beneath it, there's a response from a host, angry, defensive, and dismissive. Suddenly you're thinking, I don't really know if I want to stay in this place. That defensive reply is a red flag that suddenly makes you question, is this host professional? And chances are, you've got 10 other windows open, you're just going to move on and book one of those. So here's the key insight. Negative reviews themselves are not generally the deal breaker. It's your reaction to that review that matters most. And actually, a thoughtful, professionally crafted response can actually help your listing. Potential guests understand that no one's perfect. They understand goes wrong, and seeing that you handle criticism gracefully reassures them that you're trustworthy and committed to improving things. So how should you respond to negative reviews? Follow this framework. Number 1, acknowledge the guest's experience. Number 2, apologize sincerely for the inconvenience. Number 3, explain clearly what actions you've taken to remedy the problem. And number 4, invite them back, demonstrating that you actually do care about them and that you want to fix these things. So for example, if a guest complains about poor cleanliness, you might respond like this: thank you for your honest feedback. I'm truly sorry that your experience did not meet your expectations. We've immediately addressed the cleanliness issue with our housekeeping team and added extra quality checks to ensure that this doesn't happen again. I'd love the chance to host you again to show that we've improved and to give you the experience that you deserve. And I also believe that Airbnb's algorithm does pay attention to the hosts that respond to reviews. Hosts who consistently reply professionally and respectfully do seem to get a boost in the search result rankings. So by keeping your responses calm and solution focused, you're not just dealing with the bad review, you're actually boosting your business. So the next time you see a negative review, take a minute, take a breath. Put your emotions aside, respond thoughtfully. Your future self and your future bookings will thank you for it. Next up, and this is a biggie. As an Airbnb host, we're always looking for ways to keep costs down. But here's one area that you absolutely should not be cutting costs: that's your cleaning team. Did you know that cleanliness issues are one of the top reasons why people leave negative reviews? Guests are much more likely to notice and complain about a dirty bathroom or dusty surfaces as they are to praise something that's spotlessly clean. And think about it, if you're dining out in a restaurant, you wouldn't write a glowing review about how clean the plates were. That's expected. But if you even find one dirty fork, whew, That's the first thing you're going to mention in your review. And it's human nature. Problems stick out more than perfection. That's why investing in a professional cleaning team is absolutely critical. Yes, they cost more than the cheapest option out there, but the payoff is huge. Good cleaners don't just clean. They proactively notice and report maintenance issues before they get worse. And crucially, before your guests see them. A leaky tap, a stained mattress, or broken appliance, the cleaning team are your eyes and ears that are going to let you know before it results in a bad review. And specialized short-term rental or Airbnb cleaners also understand the specific details of cleaning properties for guests and what guests expect when they come to stay. They know exactly what guests look for as they walk through the door, and they're going to make sure that everything is spotless so you get those perfect reviews. So how do you apply this in your own business? Instead of focusing solely on finding the cheapest cleaning option, find reliable, experienced, specialized short-term rental cleaners. Even if you have to pay slightly extra, now whether you pass those cleaning fees on to your guests or not, it is money well spent to get those good 5-star reviews. Because remember, exceptional cleanliness in your properties is not just about avoiding negative reviews, it's about delivering a perfection, awesome stay for those guests. All right, next up. Now, as a caring Airbnb host, we all feel the pressure to instantly jump once a guest reports a problem. Because after all, we all want happy guests and glowing reviews, right? But here's an important truth. Rushing to fix an issue without first troubleshooting it can cost unnecessary time, stress, and money. Think about it like this. Many guest reported issues actually have very simple solutions. If you jump straight in with the right intentions into calling out a technician or replacing an appliance, you could find yourself spending hundreds of monies on something that could have been fixed in 5 minutes. So let's say your guest messaged you in a panic. The TV isn't working. Now, before you rush out to buy a new TV or call in a technician to try and fix it, do some troubleshooting. Often the issue is as simple as dead batteries in the TV remote, a loose power cable, or the TV being set to the wrong input. Or maybe you've received that dreaded message, there's no hot water. Before you call a plumber or a gas engineer out, just think to yourself for a minute, this guest is probably not familiar with how the hot water system works in this property. Maybe they've turned the boiler off, maybe they're turning the wrong tap on. I have honestly had that in the past. So just guiding them through the right setup can just fix it instantly. And Wi-Fi, the majority of internet connection problems can be solved by turning it off and on again. There's almost always no need to spend hours on the phone with your internet provider. So the key here is adopting a check first mindset. Instead of panicking or rushing to get expensive fixes, spend just 5 minutes asking clarifying questions. A quick conversation or even a video call can often pinpoint the exact problem, saving you lots of time, lots of stress, and lots of money. And here's a way you can easily implement that strategy. Create a simple troubleshooting document for the most commonly complained about things. TV, hot water, Wi-Fi. You could make short video tutorials that you can send to guests for things that they often mix up and get wrong. Include a digital guidebook with a clear section on troubleshooting if something is not working. This is going to mean that they can solve so many of these things themselves. And as a last resort, do a video call where you can actually diagnose something without having to rush to the property. So by taking just a few extra minutes to troubleshoot, you're going to save yourself stress and time, and more importantly, you're going to improve the guest experience. I know the guest is just going to be saying, it's not working, send someone down here now, but they will appreciate it if you can fix it over the phone with them in 5 minutes. That's going to be so much better than saying to them, well, the plumber's coming out, they'll be there tomorrow. So the bottom line is, a little patience and troubleshooting up front creates happier guests, less stress, and a healthier bottom line. Now let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes that Airbnb hosts make. It's manually managing their rates instead of using a dynamic pricing software. If you're adjusting your rates manually, you are 100%, 1,000,000% definitely leaving money on the table. I don't care if your property sells for 35 quid a night or 35,000 quid a night. That would be someplace. You're definitely not doing it as well as an algorithm can. Look, manual pricing, it does seem straightforward, but it misses critical factors. Local events, competitor pricing shifts, new competitors entering the market, seasonal fluctuations, and even the difference between weekday and weekend. That means your property can be underpriced in periods of very high demand or overpriced whenever things slow down. And both of these cost you valuable bookings and revenue. Think of manual pricing like trying to drive a car blindfolded. You might roughly know the road, but you're not going to be able to react whenever something new comes in. On the other hand, dynamic pricing is like a self-driving car, constantly adjusting the route based on real-time traffic. For instance, let's say there's a big local event happening in your area coming up. A dynamic pricing tool sees the spike in demand and adjusts your rates up. But it doesn't just go top whack, it goes to what the market is at. So it's going to put it up when it needs to, and if you're getting too close and it's not sold, it's going to put it down down when it needs to, and it just means you're going to get the best rates. And honestly, getting the best rates for one big event that this thing has given you could be enough to pay for it for the entire year. And the evidence is so clear that properties that use dynamic pricing achieve significantly higher occupancy, especially during off-season periods. Why? Because these tools proactively drop your rates incrementally along with market conditions to attract guests even when demand is low, and then strategically push them back up again when demand spikes. This means fewer empty nights and more consistent cash flow. And the best part is, these tools very quickly pay for themselves. Platforms like Price Labs consistently generate more bookings and better nightly rates to easily cover the cost of the platform itself. And that doesn't even account for the time that you're going to save. So if you're still spending hours each week manually adjusting your prices, now is the time to come into the 21st century. You'll not only save valuable time, but you're going to boost your occupancy, reduce vacancies, and increase that revenue. Now, this has been 5 big things that smart Airbnb hosts should not do. But what should you do? The next thing you need to watch is this video where I'm going to give you 20 expert tips for new Airbnb hosts, and I will see you in the next one.